Okay, welcome to Healthy Together Time tonight. My name is Jennifer Oxford, and I am a Optavia coach. And I love all of my yoga friends. Um, Actually, I'm going to switch to the slide. So today we're talking about discovering success in the holidays. And before we do that, I want to talk about our program a little bit. Our program has four components. The four components we have is the independent Optavia coach. All of you have a coach. That's how you found out about Healthy Together Time. They're the people that invited you to our community, and they are here to link arms with you and be part of your success. And we're going to talk about even how to use them during this month for success. And then our second one is our Habits of Health Transformational System. You guys, this is powerful. I think sometimes you might have it and not have opened it. There's no shame there. Just know that you are sitting on a gold mine of information, and that in that book, it teaches us how to change our mindset so that we can have lifelong health. Our third is our community, and you're participating in your community tonight. We do it through our Healthy Together page on Facebook. We do it through webinars like this and events. And congratulations, Jen Walker, on finishing the Life Book for the fourth time. I am impressed and kind of feel motivated to do it more. That's awesome. And the fourth is our fueling science. You guys, this is key to what makes it easy to both grow as a person, take time to really change those habits, and have success. And success is such an important part of the journey, right? Because when we have success, we want to move forward. I also love my feelings. I am loving the hot chocolate lately. That's my one I'm doing every day. This is the first Christmas I've done it every day, even though I've had it had been on the program for a while. But tonight I wanted to talk to you guys about discovering success during the holidays. So again, I'm Jennifer Oxford. I am a certified independent Optavia coach, and I'm also a clinical mental health counselor. So I'm going to use a little bit of both hats tonight as we talk about this, because as I was thinking about what do I want to talk about the first Wednesday in December, I thought, oh, that sounds like fun, right? December is kind of an interesting month for our health goals. And I've seen and I have experienced multiple levels of success and drive and goals during the holidays. And so I really wanted to share what that looks like tonight. And so I just want you guys, I really like, this is my thing. I know we always put ones in the chat, but I am more of a Likert scale person. So on a scale of 1 to 10, right? With 10 being super motivated right now in your health, and 1 being like, I am stuffing cookies in my face right this moment. Please put a number in the chat of how motivated you are, and know that there's no shame. I love the 1s as much as the 10s. And if you're not in all or nothing thinking, you'll have somewhere in between. Okay. So just really give yourself permission to just check in with yourself. And even if you don't put it in the chat, just know that we get you, right? We've all been there. Okay. But I just want to acknowledge that, and that we're all in different levels. And you right now, while you're watching this, may be at a different level than you were an hour ago. Okay. And that's just how we work as human beings. And so pay attention, right? We're going to be really open to the fact that we're human beings tonight. As a therapist, I only work with human beings, no robots. That's just not my thing. So I can't tell you how to be a robot. I'm really bad at it. Okay, but let's talk about why health and health goals specifically can be so hard during the holidays. Does anyone feel like health is just like, that's ridiculous? Why in the world would you even try? It's unobtainable. Are you kidding? My husband and I both work from home now, but have you ever gone to an office during the holidays? Right? I got a picture from my office back in Utah today, and there was like, I'm going to say this word weird, a charcuterie board full of candy, and it was just candy. I always send them for our staff meeting a treat. I sent nuts. I felt like I was really out of the thing, so I always do that. But there's parties, there's stuff everywhere. You might have even ran into some family members. You're not sure how you feel about them. That's okay, right? But the truth is that we get in this place where we're like, I can't be perfect, right? Some of you forgot that you're human and not robots, so you think that that was the goal. It's not. right? But I can't be perfect. How many of you, just blink an eye if you've decided to start again tomorrow and don't know which day tomorrow actually is, so that's okay. How many of you are in the new year, new me place? In your heart, you know I'm not really doing anything until it hits January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th. I haven't decided yet. And then fear of missing out, right? You guys, some of you have treats that you only make during the holidays. And you think I really want to share in that, but everybody else is doing it, right? Yes, everybody else is doing it. That's why we have an epidemic in our country. And so that's real. And then it's not important to you right now, right? So give yourself permission to just say, if you've decided it's not important right now, okay. But let's talk about why you're giving yourself that permission and when it will become important, because that's really important. And just let yourself know if you're too busy, that actually never goes away. I talk to people all the time and they're like, when I'm not busy, I'll do this. And I'm like, so when do you see that in the calendar happening? It will not be January 1st. It will not be February 1st. We are always busy human beings. But I want to acknowledge that these are some of our beliefs, our habits, and our experiences. And as we do that and we talk about success during the holidays, I am really bad at pretending like things are okay all the time, right? Things are what they are. And sometimes they're a lot to handle. So I'm going to go on and tell you a little bit about my story. So, for almost 4 years ago, now it'll be 4 years ago next year, that we were in a bad place with our health. We certainly were not on any kind of healthy together time, and we were just living our life. In fact, at that point, I had decided that the only option for me was to be fat and happy. And there is no better time to be fat and happy than during the holidays. And I can say that because I was 415 pounds. So, I get to say that. And my husband, was also overweight, and we were in this place. Little did I know at the time that he was having these conversations with the doctor, and the doctor was saying things like, "You're going to die." And he, of course, wasn't telling me because we had terrible communication back then. Okay. And I went and I found this program, and through this program, I've lost over 180 pounds and been able to keep it off for years. And on top of that, I've seen my husband gain his health back, and we plan on living a long, healthy life together, harassing each other. That's our big plan. So I want to talk about 3 places that we exist at any given time, right? When we experience success, it's because we are looking at it from a perspective. I won't even tell you whether it's the right or wrong perspective. It's just a perspective. And I'm going to give you 3 places. So just think for a minute. We have the starting point of our journey. I talked to you a little bit about my starting point, right, at 415 pounds and very unconscious. There is the ideal of what we want. How many of you just, put an 8 in the chat if you have an ideal of what you'd like life to look like in any area of your finances, whether they be your physical, mental, or financial health, right? You've got goals and ideals. And then we've got what we want, where we at, what we've achieved, okay? And what you'll see on the screen right now is that there are 2 arrows. And the 2 arrows they have names. And the name of the arrows is the gap and the gain. So when you look at the arrow from where you're achieving to where you're ideal, and you look at all the pressure and all the things you have to do to get to your ideal, that's called the gap. You guys, that's called what we haven't done. And the great thing to know about the gap is that if you stay in the gap long enough, you will become completely hopeless, right? It's a guaranteed solution. If you stay where you're at and just look at your ideal, you will get frustrated. The other place that we can go is the gain. And that's where we look at where we are and we look backwards. We measure backwards and we look at and we say, how far have I come, right? So take a minute and just put something in the chat about something you have achieved, right? Right now, if you look at where your health is, something you've achieved. I don't care how big or small, any achievement you've made. It could be mentally, it could be physically, it could be I just put down a cookie and that was a huge achievement for me. Whatever it is, I want you to give yourself permission. I got a text from a client whose husband said, hey, can I get you a Dr. Pepper today? And she said no. That would have been a huge progress. Okay, I've walked the dog a few times, no more stomach pains, lost 13 pounds, made it to your goal weight, right? These are achievements in our progress to success, right? Shuffle dancing, meditation, inner voice. Yes, that main inner voice. Not snacking on empty calories, being more intentional, lowering medication. I love all of these things, you guys. Notice I didn't ask you to put what you still had left to do, right? How many of you could have filled out that list? You could have. It's not actually that helpful to make a list of the things you still have to do. Once we get an ideal, it's about starting to figure out what we need to do next. So I want to talk to you guys about this idea of the gap and the gain. Oh my gosh. By the way, I'll talk a little more about where I got this. But guys, this is the gap mindset. This is about, oh, you guys, I should have changed that text color. Too late. I'm going to read it to you. So if someone just put that I had a typo in the chat, you have not met me yet. I am the queen of typos. I will have a typo everywhere you look. But let's talk about the gap mindset and how you know you're in the gap mindset. Okay. That is, I refuse to appreciate my achievements. It's not enough. I don't care what I did in the past. It's only about right now and how good I'm doing, right? And these really light things you can't read said, I need to arrive, right? Before and like a date, right? I need to be at my ideal by this date or this time or this event, those kinds of things. That is a gap mindset. And it is not going to help you, right? Isn't enough, right? So I told you that I've lost 180 pounds. Do you know that sometimes I say that isn't enough? I like literally tell myself like, what's wrong with you, Jen? You're a slacker, right? I cannot believe that you've only lost 180 pounds. Did you know that you actually have more to lose, Jen? And I go into that conversation, really rude. Like I should not be in that conversation. You should just walk out, right? But that's in the gap, right? Moving the standard of success. You guys, there's a great term. You don't have to memorize it, or you can if you want, called the hedonic treadmill, where we get to the goal and we move the goal, right? How many of you have done that to yourself? How many, you guys, when I did my health assessment, they made me say a number. I think I said something like 40 pounds. I want to lose 40 pounds, right? And because I believe nothing was possible, right? Because that's how we start often. That was my starting point. And now I realize not only have I lost 180 pounds, but I could, if I look backwards and I look at that 180 pounds, I said, I could lose another 40. I could do that. Like I have systems. I actually feel really capable and motivated when I start to celebrate my success. That gap thinking keeps us stuck. Because if I just said, gosh, I'm not there yet, I'm getting down on myself, right? So don't move the standard of success, right? If you're not there yet, or if you have, go back to what are you learning? Is this an experience? Why am I stuck? You guys, I could do a whole nother presentation on why I've been stuck in my life. So could you, right? But we got to figure out, why are we stuck? And understanding that looking backwards gets us unstuck. Looking forward and saying, gosh, I'm not there yet, does not get you unstuck. Okay. So if we believe success only exists in the future, right? Could you guys just put in the chat what date you plan on succeeding? I would like to know, what date is it that you plan on succeeding? What's the date? Because if you put a date in it, this is a trick question, although some of you may want one, that date will be your enemy, right? We have to specifically be working on identifying our success in the moment, right? I do have successes I hope to gain, but if I look at success right now, I'm going to gain right now, today, my success. What was it today versus focusing on what will it be in the future? The next one in the gap thinking is the belief that it's hopeless. You guys, I'm going to put on my therapist hat for a minute. I'm just going to be real with you. Okay, you guys ready? I've been in some therapy sessions this week. They've been rough. Can I just tell you, like, people are struggling, right? I don't know if any of you went to therapy this week, but I've had like 20 sessions. I know I need a lot of therapy. And I am telling you, people are struggling, right? And they are struggling with hopelessness. They are struggling with feeling like they're not enough. They are struggling with feeling like they'll never get there. They have moved their goal. They're in this gap thinking, right? And sometimes we are in that gap thinking. You guys, hopelessness does not move us forward. It keeps you stuck. And hopelessness, I'm going to say this again, the brain registered hopelessness, that feeling of that you cannot move, there is no hope, it registers it as trauma, which means you will have one of 4 responses, right? I'm just going to go over them real quick. I didn't make a slide for it. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. You'll have to ask me later what they mean. That is how you respond to hopelessness. If you have met one of the Optavia coaches, you know that we're working on 31 days of hope. We are inviting you to get out of hopelessness and start to move into creator of what's possible and how are you currently succeeding, right? Isn't that beautiful? I love this community for that reason, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about, what's my next slide, guys? Oh, I got a quote. You guys, this is the only quote I'm going to put up the whole time. I thought about doing 12 because there is a book called The Gap and the Gain, and it is a phenomenal book. If you haven't read it, please put it on your list. I love it. But this is the quote that I want you to remember, is that success is not in our future. Success has nothing to do with the calendar or the clock. Success is about how you view yourself, in relation to where you've been, and are you making any progress? Have you made any progress? Right? Did you listen to this podcast? Or this webinar, whatever we're calling it. This is progress. Did you reach out to your coach? Did you read their message and forget to text back? You read the message, good job. They wouldn't mind if you texted back. I'm just giving it out to my coaches out there. They want you to text back, okay? Because they love you and they would love to cheer you on and help you, guide you out of hopelessness. Remember how I talked about how we offer coaches? You know who's really good at checking in when you're hopeless? A coach. You know who's really good at reminding you how far you've come and reminding you, like, remember, Jen, when you thought you could only lose 40 pounds? A coach, right? So I'm just saying, if you guys do nothing else and you want to know how to discover success during the holidays, will you just reach out to your coach, right? It's so important that we reach out to each other. Reaching out is how we get out of hopelessness. Connecting and being in what we call common humanity is an act of self-compassion. I'm a little bit on my therapist boat right now, you guys, but it's okay. It's good, right? We have to be in that place. Speaking of self-compassion, we're going to talk about the opposite of the gap. Okay, again, too late to change the font, you guys. It is what it is. So, when we're in the gap or the gain, sorry, I said the gap, but it's the gain. When we're in the gain, our mindset is different, right? This very first one up here says, I am connected to myself and my progress. Remember how I don't treat robots? That's like, I don't know, it's a disclaimer. I don't do it. I refuse. I only treat people. Guess what? You're not a robot. You're a person. Connect to yourself and your progress. Give yourself a lot of credit, right? Tell yourself, oh my gosh, I just survived a pandemic for like 2 years. Can you just pat yourself on the back? You did really good, right? Some of you did it with kids. I adopted 2 puppies. That was a lot for me, okay? But give yourself a moment to just say, look what I accomplished. Did you know nobody had ever been through a pandemic before? Nobody? And you did that? You're pretty cool, right? Okay, So think about that, and you're going to focus on your progress. In order to move forward, do you know the quickest way to move forward is to start to celebrate your progress, right? Because when I say, you know what, you know who can accomplish this? The girl who accomplished all the things I did before, the girl that showed up, every single one of those 180 pounds can lose 40 more, right? If I think of the girl who hasn't lost the 40 pounds, I don't trust her. I just don't. When I start to treat her like that, I start to like question her and I start to treat her like she's a failure. And because I'm a human being, I respond to that feeling, right? I respond to the feeling of you're not enough and you haven't done it. But when I look at what you have done, right, then I get in that. And if you don't know how to celebrate yourself, I think I told you guys, where do you go to celebrate yourself? Put it in the chat. If you don't know how, where do you go to celebrate yourself and find success? Okay, you got to remember, someone put it in the chat or I won't keep going. Because I used to work with teenagers, I can wait you out. There you go. There you go. Okay. That's right. You know, not delicious food. Who put delicious food? Healthy food. But I want you guys to know that it's okay if you don't know how to celebrate yourself. Some of us were not taught that. That's okay. Okay. But then I want you to focus on what you have already achieved. Can you just, I know we have dream boards in Optavia. Have you guys ever made a success board? Can you just for a minute, like, what would be on your success board? Right? I love that idea. Can we just give ourselves permission to be success boards for a minute and to say, I've accomplished a lot, right? And all we've come from is important, right? And that when you start to celebrate your successes, you actually motivate yourself. Okay, the next one is, and this is how do you measure, start to achieve? How am I different, right? So one of the things they talked about, this is in the white print you may not be able to read, is what is your done list look like? What have you accomplished? You know what I did today? I'm a crazy person. I did an Excel sheet. Okay. This was a misspent childhood. And I just wrote out some things that I had accomplished this year. What had I done? And I did that in order to look at what I wanted to do next. It's really cool to kind of say, what have I done? And then be proud of yourself for what you've done, right? We are always measuring ourselves against where we started, not where we're going. Okay. You measure yourself from where you started, not from where you're going. Some of you are looking at the you 2 years in the future and saying, I'm not there yet. Well, you guys, there's over 700 days till 2 years in the future. So stop worrying about it. When you look back 2 years and you think how far you've come and how many puppies I've gotten in my life, then you will realize there's been a lot of life lived and you can start to celebrate yourself, right? So we measure from the start, not from the ideal. Right? Oh, I like this. People have made successes. Good. I'm glad. What have I learned about myself? You guys, I went through a whole, I won't tell too much, but in my story, I actually had kind of a year where I kind of stayed. I was dealing with some infertility and going through some things, and I really just got really present with myself and I was watching myself do what I was doing. And what I realized is I was learning. Jen, when this happens, you start to disconnect. When this happens, you pull away. When this happens, you hide. And as I started to get into that place where I could get honest to myself about what I am doing, then I could start to work with myself as a human, not a robot. Okay. And then the next question is, what is the action I'm taking right now? Right? Guys, what is the action you're taking right now? Right? Some of you are in your head making success lists. Some of you texted your coach. Some of you are texting your clients saying, I believe in you. You know what? We all have a unique growth experience, right? Think about that. What is going on in your life right now is going to be completely different. You could line up 40 people who are going to try and lose weight this year, and what they're doing in that moment there might be some differences, and that's okay. What is your unique growth experience, right? And celebrate that and own that with your coach. That's what the life book is for. If you guys didn't know, the life book is about your unique growth experience. The Habits of Health is about information. Life book, unique growth experience. Feel free to write that in the book if you forgot. Okay. And then I want you to define what this season means to you. What does this holiday season mean? What would success look like? Did you know you get to choose? Did you know nobody else can tell you what success is? I cannot tell you what success is this holiday season. Nobody else can do it, only you. So take a minute and say, what would success be? Success, am I saying that weirdly? It sounds weird to me, guys. But give yourself a chance to say, what would it look like? You get to decide. Now you have to believe it. You can't lie to yourself. You can't say success would be like laying around in my pajamas and then I don't trust that. Like you have to be honest with yourself, because the worst person to lie to is yourself. You can like sniff it out every time, right? You got to get honest. But what's your success goal? Is it to be on the 5 and 1? Great. I've done the holidays on the 5 and 1 the whole time. You know what? It was awesome. It was awesome, you guys. I was emotionally present. I was alive. I was doing all kinds of crazy things while I was not eating all the things I normally eat. It was fun. It was super fun. I've done the holidays kind of on the, in the health, but kind of having some treats here and there. You know what? That was fun too. That was fun. And I was alive and I enjoyed my family. But I had a goal. And once I started having goals during the holidays, I started feeling that success. And I was awake. Do you know when I wasn't awake is when I had no goals. That's when you're not awake, right? So give yourself a chance to say, what does success look like? I don't care if it's checking in with your coach. I don't care if it's reading a chapter in a book. I don't care if it's something about the fridge or the scale, right? You can just drink your water, right? Everyone take a sip of water and you're successful right now, okay? But give yourself permission to define what success looks like for you and not let anyone else define it. I'm going to tell you a true story. I think Matt is driving somewhere. I don't think he's here, you guys, so I got to tell a story on Matt. Everyone ready for Matt's story? Okay, true story. Last night, feeling a little bit stressed, and I'm at the fridge. I pull out my brownie, right? Because I pre-make my brownies and I love them and I eat them every night. And it's a long story, okay? Don't go too deep in it. I make a little bit of powdered peanut butter sometimes to put on my brownie. I know, okay? Sometimes but it's way better than the other options I have previously done. It's success to me, you guys. And Matt looks at me. He's around the corner, right, from the fridge, and he raises an eyebrow. He's like, that's quite a lot of peanut butter, Jen. That's what he said to me, you guys. And you know what I said? I said, it's way better than Oreos. And I walked away because I knew for me that I was making the best decision for me and what I could tolerate right then. We can talk all about the window of tolerance another time, you guys, but that's what I could tolerate in the moment. And I still love my husband, right? Because if I had not had peanut butter, I don't know, maybe Matt would be in big trouble today. Who knows, guys? But Matt did not sleep on the couch, you guys. I love my husband. We just harass each other like. But I just want you to think about this and realize that success can be different. And if tomorrow, if I say, you know what, I feel like I can totally do this fueling without a little bit of peanut butter, I'm going to do it. Because I'm not going to say success is what only happens on my worst day. I'm going to define success in the moment. And what am I learning about myself in the moment, guys? Okay. Where are we at? Guys, we are there. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys found something helpful. I hope that you guys just know that you can be successful, that I believe in every single one of you, that you are humans very capable of success. Live in the gains. Live in the gains of your life. Okay, so for the next half an hour, right, we want you to join us. There's going to be 2 different webinars. All right, I'm actually going to stop sharing for a minute so I can pull this up. Just a minute as we transition here. You guys, I'm getting there. Everyone take a breath. I spoke really fast. I always do. Okay, so as we go, we're going to be in 2 places. So if you are a new coach, right, or a newer coach in the